Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. Today I'm working on my very first Patreon reward. I have just one supporter right now, my very good friend. So that means she wins by default the monthly Chibi drawing. And drawing has two meanings. It's a drawing from all the Patreon supporters' names. I could draw their name, but it's also a drawing because I'm going to draw a chibi. And what she requested this time was really sweet. Instead of something for herself, she requested a drawing of her friend's dog, so as a present for her friend. So I'm gonna work on that today. I've got some nice reference images that she sent me, and there's some that are, let's see, I'm looking through them. Some that are closer, and there's this one that is super cute that has the dog's tongue sticking out. So I think I'm going to use the tongue sticking out, and it's a closer on the face. For the head, oh, there's another one. That's so cute. Okay, but there's also some that have the whole body. So there's this one. It's a lot farther away, so I can't see detail, but I think this is what I'm going to use to do the body and the pose, because it just shows really well the overall shape of the dog, the body composition. You can see how the stomach comes down to the chest here, and yeah, I'll use this one first to draw the basic pose, where the legs and everything go, where the head is on top of the body. And then I'll switch to one of the more zoomed in or closer up images. I like that one with the tongue sticking out, so that's the one I'll use. So to start, I'm going to use my current favorite Tombow 3H pencil. The 3H is great for these kind of drawings where you are definitely going to be erasing away the pencil at the end. Because H stands for hardness, so 3H is getting pretty hard. The higher the number, the more intense the quality. So 3 is getting up there. And that's what, like, you can't even, it's so light there, you can't even see my sketch because the pencil is so hard that it doesn't put a lot of graphite down. And that's great for these kind of sketches, because I'm going to be getting rid of this sketch. So I'm just drawing the head, drawing the main part of the body, and the hips are here. And the back legs come almost just like straight down. Because this dog is really, it's a Shih Tzu, which my mom had some. So I know them pretty well. Their hair grows and grows. This one's hair is fairly long, looks like a couple inches long. So there's not much of the physique showing through all the fur and the hair. So here's the front leg. This pose is pretty cute because the head looks like it's at an angle. I'm going to exaggerate the angle a little bit because I think it looks extra cute. Make it look even more tilted than what it actually is. And the tail comes up and around in a curl. If you can hear him meowing, it's Chibi. He's sitting on the top of his new favorite recliner chair and looking out the window, purring to himself, meowing to himself. I'm not even sure how to describe that sound. This dog's legs already kind of do it, but I want to exaggerate the taper. So as the chibi body comes down, as it comes down from the head, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So I want the paws to be super tiny. This is actually the second Shih Tzu I've drawn as a chibi, and the third Shih Tzu I've ever drawn. The other one was a watercolor painting. Let's see. Trying to get his belly right. No, I want this eraser. My awesome clickable, retractable mechanical eraser. Well, something I learned yesterday from the chibi dog that I drew yesterday is that for my dogs, I really, especially when it's from the side, for my dog chibis, I want the head to be sort of resting on the whole body. So I really like that look. I'm wondering if I should reduce the length of the body here. Too bad you can barely see this on the camera. But I don't want this to look too... So it seems like this leg length is actually longer in the reference image than the length from front to back leg. And so even though the chibi, I'm reducing proportions everywhere, I still want to overall have it look like the same dog. So I think I need to redraw the back end a little bit closer. And this is why the 3H pencil is really good, because you are going to leave marks, but it's going to be a lot less visible. If you have to erase something, it'll be much less visible if you use a pencil that doesn't lay very much graphite down in the first place. Okay, I'm going to bring this back leg in. Oh yeah, I haven't even finished and I already like it. I already like this position better. Okay, up here, comes way down. Just judging by the pictures, it seems like this dog is a nice weight, or at the very least it's not overweight. Because all my animals used to be overweight, so I'm like an expert at, uh-oh, my cat is fat again. Uh-oh, my dog is fat. Okay, it's interesting, it's not really working as well for the chibi. On the, I think I need to redraw this leg on this reference image. The thigh from the front leg covers the thigh from the back leg, but you can still see the foot from the back leg. So I'm trying to get that to happen here with the chibi too. Okay, now this little fluffy pup comes up into the tail. Oh, cute little tail. It's really long hair on its tail. It's really hard to... all the fur just sort of makes all the different body parts blend into one another. It's kind of hard to tell what's leg, what's chest. And since the body is so small anyway, it's not too big of a deal. Okay. I'm drawing these with just straight solid lines, but when I actually ink it, I'm going to do little squigglies to indicate all this curly hair that the whole dog is made up of. Now I want to move on to the face, so I'm going to switch to one of the closer... yeah, this is the one I like, and it's even the same angle and side. It's looking to the same side. It's fluffy fur. It's pretty much covering its eyes. So we're just gonna have to rely on the nose and the mouth to give it that expression. But it's great that it has, we've got a few of these licking its lips pictures, so that gives it more personality. I always like to exaggerate the corners of the mouth for chibis of animals. Give them a little human smile. Okay, maybe that's a little too much exaggeration. I'll use the fur to lift up the corners of the cheeks and make it look happier. From a human perspective, happier. And since we're exaggerating all the other features, may as well anthropomorphize them a bit as well. After all, art is for humans, not for the animals. Okay. Got his little cute little mouth. I'll start by adding in the beard. Since this is a bigger part of the head, I am going to draw the squiggles for the hair. In fact, I think it should go lower than this. The squiggles should go below the edge of this circle for the head. And then, let's see, I guess I'll add a little bit more to the beard. And then add this mustache area. So it actually comes all the way up the top of the nose. And then overall it should be, I'm going to actually draw a circle. Overall this fur should be a big circle. Oh, Soon's barking at something. Soon? Soon? Soon, come here. I don't know if you could hear that, but I don't like him barking at stuff. Usually he just sees somebody out the window and he is barking to let everybody know there's somebody out there. Some of this fur is actually comes out pretty straight. Now other pieces are really curly. Some of them are just stick straight out. I need my tinier mechanical eraser. So the only problem with these erasers is that their rubber sticks to the page sometimes. Not sometimes, a lot of the time. Okay, so see, I'm going to do a little bit more coming out here. Coming out specifically from around the nose. Ah, I don't like that line. Fix that, fix that. I think that's good for this area. Now he's got sort of like a mohawk coming straight down of white fur. He's got like a wild, messy hairstyle. So it makes it look even more like a mohawk because it's just like, looks like a little punk. I'm gonna try and get this looking to really look like how his fur is. It mostly falls onto this side, which is appropriate since his head is tilted to this side. Okay. Oh, stretch for a second. Oh, my back has been really hurting. I couldn't fall asleep for a long time last night because my back was just hurting so much. And it's like I woke up and it still hurt. I'm doing these 2 areas of black fur. First, he's got more flyaways here. Before I think they're, like, you can't tell because there's just so much fur, but I think this is following his ear now, and that's why these furs on the side here are going down instead of up anymore. Kind of tempted to do a Alphonse Mucha sort of Art Nouveau style of inking on this, but it's such a small area, it's probably not going to make that big of a difference. Maybe I'll do it anyway, even if the style won't really be noticed. Okay, maybe I'll just curve this a little bit more right here. There. Okay, now for the other side. And this one sticks out to the side. It's actually not all black here, you can see, and maybe on this side it's the same story, because now that I'm looking at it, I think you can see some white fur through a veil of black fur, so it's sort of gray looking. So now that I've noticed that, I'm going to make sure to kind of leave a little space for that to be. Let's see, around the nose. Okay, this needs to come way down, curl out here. This comes out like that. And this one comes down. Make sure to need to bring this down a little further, or else it's not going to connect right with the body. Okay, I think I actually need to change this. Let's use this one. Change this white fur now in order to come out as far as it needs to over the top of the black fur here. Staying little eraser shavings. It's one bad thing about these. Little eraser shavings stick to the paper. Actually, I need to erase this too. Bring it all out. It needs to come all out further. Dang, now I feel I've brought it too far out. Okay, let's just redo this one line right here. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the full body picture I used from the beginning, and I want to draw the way this fur falls and curls on the tail. So I'm just going to do random squiggles here and just eyeball it there, but I want to get the tail more precise. Actually, I want to get a different picture. I can't see this part right here that I'm drawing is black. I couldn't see it because it was on a black background. Okay, back to my favorite picture. Now that it's up higher, I can see it. Okay. I think that's good for the pencil. Now to ink. And I think although I usually prefer to do a really thick outer line, because this dog's fur is so fine, it's more hair than fur, I think it would be better if I didn't do as thick a outside line as I usually do. So I'm just gonna, I'll go with this size 5. start just doing some squiggly lines for this outline part. And actually, the entire paws are this squiggly sort of fur. So I'm going to keep doing it even all the way down here. And right now I'm only inking the very outline. Right here is pretty smooth. And then we're back to the squiggles. This just looks really cute to me. It's just a big fluff ball. Fur ball. Hair ball? Whew, okay. Done with the 5. Let's move down to, I usually go for a 3, but let's go for a 2 today since I started my outline smaller. We'll go smaller for the inside lines as well. Whew, thirsty. I need a drink. Okay. I'll start on these smaller parts. The body, tail, legs. Let's get all this stuff in here. There's actually some really distinct waves of fur that I'm going to ink in. Oh, I better do this bottom edge of his head first. hopefully that lends a curly texture to the overall look. He is a black and white dog, so there's going to be a big black patch here and a big black patch on his tail and hind leg. But at least these lines should show up for the white fur and help give that curly texture there. I should switch over to my other picture. There we go. I decided to do partially Alphonse Mucha inspired inking style up here. Okay, I didn't draw any details on the nose, but I do want to make sure to get those in there. So I'll zoom in, draw this first. Okay, draw this little mouth with the little tongue sticking out. Give it a little smile. Just realized I don't have my glasses on. That would help these little small details. There. Is that okay? And maybe give a little more squiggles to the beard. There, I think that's good. I'm just gonna erase this stuff and then I'll move on to coloring. So I want to give the ink a chance to dry really well, so I'm gonna erase the outside first. I'm trying to be extra careful so I don't catch the paper with my eraser. It's been a problem I've had ever since I first started drawing ages and ages ago, and I still do it sometimes. Catch the paper and bend it. Now at least I know to be gentle enough by default without thinking about it that I don't usually crease the paper. I can usually bend it back the other way and save it. Okay, hopefully that's been long enough. Going to erase main area now. Now I'm going to use this little eraser. Wait, I didn't put it away. Here it is. Little eraser. And just try to clean up any areas that need some extra help. So I just like to make sure the drawing is super clean before I start putting down any color, because once you put the color down, if you notice some graphite left over, it's not coming up anymore. It's going to be sealed or locked in place. And paying attention to these little details like this, I think, is what makes my art different. I've always wanted to be able to focus on the details, add details. So I think that's what helps my work stand apart from others. So it's really important to me, even though in the end probably no one will ever know, unless they watch this video, that I put in that kind of effort. The end result will still be better for it. Okay, I'm done with erasing, put those away, and I'm done with ink until the very end. Now I need to get some markers. The first thing, let me switch my reference images again. Now I don't know if I want to use this one. Because he's not, in the reference image I used for the whole pose, he's not very well lit. He just has a couple of spots of light hitting him like here, here, and here. But otherwise he's all in shadow, and that's not very, what's the word? Not attractive, but it doesn't show him off well. And I want to show him off, so let's find one where got quite a few different references to pick from. Maybe I'll use this one. It's not completely, I think I'll add my own highlights and areas. But the light is coming from the front and hitting his chest, so I could have it hit, even though it's not doing it in the picture. There's something casting shadow on his face. But I'll have light hitting here and highlighting the side of his face, so it brings attention to his face. Because when you have a really bright area, it brings attention to it. And so if you only have bright areas on the body, it's going to bring attention to the body, and on a chibi, that's like the least important thing. So the first colors I will start with are some grays to do shadow on the white parts of the body. So I'll be right back. I'm going to use neutral gray, 0, 2, and 4. So 0 does hardly anything. But I just feel like doing something different than the black and white dog I did yesterday. I want to color differently this time. Since these two dogs I've done in the past 2 days are coming one right after the other, they're both black and white, and I'm coloring them with the same stuff. I just want to make them look different from one another. I mean, they look different because they're totally different dogs. The other one was like a big mixed breed, like he really looked like my dog, only instead of red and white, black and white. And so my dog was like a mix of German Shepherd and Hound Dog, some sort of hound dog. But this one is clearly a Shih Tzu, so there is that difference. You hear Kiba, he's coming out here to meow at me again. Kiba boy, what is it? Did you get in the kitty box? His head is all covered with dust from the kitty box. Kiba. Since he's a black cat, it's especially hilarious. You can really see it. It's all over his head. Okay, where was I? Okay, this is the part where I'm just going to have to use my imagination and my pre-existing knowledge of the shape of Shih Tzu's faces to get this shading done the way I want. So I want this side highlighted, and I want to show off the different layers, so this stuff here will be closer to the viewer than this stuff back here, because this is going back along his muzzle, and then of course this is even farther back. So I want to make sure to do some shading techniques that give that effect. And then also this side of his face is just going to be more in shadow than this side. And this is his little mohawk. This little punk mohawk. I'm going to put more shadow on the stuff that's farther back on his face. And try to put less on the stuff that's closer to the viewer. I guess this is all black here, so I don't really need to do any of this color on it. It'll just be a waste of time. Let's move on to the next color. Neutral 2. I'm definitely going to go over this fur, this white fur, at the end with some white gel pen to really get some strands to stick out, get some fine details in that the marker can't do. Right here is actually really dark. Like all dogs, it's a nice dark lip right here. Oh wait, I forgot his little mohawk. Right there. Okay, now for the darkest color that I have so far. I don't really want to go too dark because I still want this to clearly be white fur. This is just going to be for areas that are super in shadow, or that really need extra help to stand out from some other feature that spatially is not right next to it, even though on a 2D drawing it's right next to it. Go a little bit darker on this side of the face to give the illusion of it being in shadow. I think that's good enough. I'll keep these off to the side in case I need them, but now I'm going to move on to, not to the darker fur, because you should always save the darkest colors for last in case you end up, if you do a dark color and then you do a light color next to it, you can end up making it bleed, or you can like draw it onto and pull the pigment onto the light part, and you don't want to do that. So the next thing I need to do is his tongue, and it's a beautiful little pink tongue, so hopefully I can find a good color. I'll be right back. If you heard a meow, that was a bear. I think these might be good. I'm going to test them on a little tester sheet first. Yeah, that one looks good already. Although they do need to dry to be absolutely sure about what their final color will be. Yeah. These look great. Oh, not this one though. Glad I tried it. This one is way too vibrant. I need something a little less, it's almost like neon looking. Hey, you can't really tell on the camera though. In fact, I think I'll just stick with these two. The tongue is such a tiny little area. Probably good enough to just have two, and then I could put a little white ink on at the end for some highlight. There we go. Just double checking to make sure there's not anything yeah, I think moving on to the super darkest colors is the next step. So I will go get neutral grays, but they'll be on the dark end. Bear keeps meowing at me. I think he's hoping that I'm gonna feed him, but he's gonna have to wait till I'm done with this. So I've got same group of dark grays as before. Neutral gray 6, 8, and 10. So I will start with the lightest of these dark colors, 6. And I'm going to try to be careful because I still don't want to, I don't want to go out the lines. I don't want to accidentally get some onto the areas that are supposed to be white fur. I'm gonna make strokes. Oh yeah, I wanted this to be, oh, I'll just use white gel pen at the end to give it a little extra white. Because on these sides of the head, and maybe it's because there's white fur inside the ears or something, and it's coming out. Either way, you can just barely tell there's some white fur mixed in with the dark fur here. I'll just use white ink to get that effect. So what I was saying was I'm going to just use strokes that mimic the shape of the hair, and then that way we can get some hair texture in here without having to draw it at all with ink. You can use the marker to get that. Alright, here's where I need to be super careful. Trying to just barely touch the tip of the marker to the page. Get the very smallest possible application. I do wish Copic made like super tiny solid tip markers. They make like brush tip markers, but that's not exactly what I want. I want it to be kind of like their pens, their multi-liner pens, but in all the marker colors, so I could like buy a set. Because then I could just reach in, I could get the big marker for filling in, and then I could also get the little one for doing these little tiny corner-like areas that I just can't get a sharp, small, sharp point of a line in there. Down here's the extra troublesome. Just gonna do my best. It's still bleeding a little bit, but I also have to remember to do the spots on the body that are dark. don't remember if this is, I think this is supposed to be white hair right here. I want to go look at my reference image one more time. The exact one that I used to draw this hair. Yeah. That's all white. Woo! Okay. The first application of dark is ready. I mean finished on this part. I also need to do some on the nose, although the nose, I'm gonna wait for a minute. I need to go back to my, where is it? I'm gonna go back here, get this. So this guy has a little saddle marking right here. And then back here, it's on the back of the leg and on the tail. And it goes all the way up the tail, almost to the very end. Oh yeah, that's really making this drawing look like the actual dog now. Okay. Zoom in. Not zoom in, get this picture that is already closer up. There we go. And zoom in on it. See the contours of the nose. So I'm just gonna use the darkest of the light colors first, so that I can leave some areas that look like they're being highlighted. I want to let that dry a bit first because I want it to be, if I don't let it dry first, then this will like sort of bleed in and not give me a harder edge that I want to show shaded, you know, because the nose goes out and it goes down and then it goes off to the sides like this, so you need harder shading lines to show that dimension. So let's see, of course the nostrils are quite dark. Let's see what I'm at, 6, good. Here, and the inside reflects a little bit. The top. Okay, let that dry a little bit. I think in the meantime I'll go back to doing even darker grays on the dark part of the fur. So I'll move on to this neutral 8. comes the part where I really need to make these strokes with the intent of giving it the look of fur. Because right now it's kind of random. But now I need to bring out different pieces of fur with all these lines I'm making with the darker color. At the same time, this side of the face needs to be darker than the other side, because the way I want the light to be is hitting this side of the face. Some kitty is being naughty and I can't see where they are. They're making a bunch of noise though. Kibo, what the heck are you doing? I have no idea. I wonder if he's under one of these recliner chairs. Okay. Yeah, that's starting to get the effect that I'm going for. Making it look like bunches of fur like it is. And also more highlighted on this side and more in shadow on this side. Okay. Oh wait, I can use this now on the nose as well. So take these nostrils. This little line in the middle of the nose. Up here on the side. I'm using the darkest color and neutral 10. Not sure yet if I will want to use a black marker as well, like I did for the dog I drew yesterday. We'll wait and see. Now, I really don't want to get carried away right here, even though this should be quite in shadow. I want there to be a visible difference between the fur that's part of the dog's back and the fur that's part of its head. I don't want that to blend in. I want it to be clear that this is on top of this. So even though technically maybe this should be really dark, I'm going to leave it lighter so it just stands out. Oops, a little dark on the white fur. Okay, I gotta go to see what the heck is happening over here. Well, I don't know if he did it on purpose or by accident, but he had the vent grate out of the floor, the heater vent grate. He sometimes gets his collar stuck in it when the heater's on, because it's pretty chilly today. He'll lay on the heater and then his ID tags and stuff get caught in there. He ends up pulling up the whole heater vent. But he wasn't stuck in it this time, but maybe all that noise I was hearing was him getting himself unstuck. I think that's actually pretty good. I don't think I need to go to a black. Oh, let me use this on the nostrils and his nose. Make sure they're absolutely as dark as possible. I think that's actually good for... Maybe the only thing is the tongue. I think it does need a darker color after all for shading, because it's not really, you can barely tell the difference between the two different colors I use. So I'm going to go get another color for that before moving on to the white ink. Hold on, Bear. Bear's getting more insistent every time I get up. Yeah, this is much better. Not as intense as this one that I had gotten before. There we go. Although, looks like on the camera you can't really tell, but it looks much better in person. And it will look much better on the skin, therefore. And I just realized I wanted to do a little more dark here around his mouth. Almost missed this. Because what he's got here is, it's really dark, but then there's lots of white fur growing out over the top of it. It's the same thing down here, so I was going to do it really dark and then use white ink. Get that fur effect. There. Barrett meows every time I get up now. Oh, ouch. I hit my leg on the desk. Ouch. Okay. That's smart. Okay. So I've got these two sizes of gel pen. I don't know which size I should use. Well, I'll probably use this smaller one or this fur. I only really need to do the white on areas where it's dark fur, because the other fur is just so bright that it's going to be kind of a waste. Let's see this fur thing. Especially looks mustache-like right here. Give him a little highlight on his nose to show it's a nice, wet, healthy nose. Now maybe even do just a couple little here and there to make this stand out more. Okay, now I want to do some coming out of this sort of mustache fur, beard fur. It's going to look really nice and furry like it is in the picture. I'm doing these lines on top of the dark marker. And then I can also sort of fix or mask these areas where the dark marker got into areas that should have been white fur only. And we'll do the same thing with his little punk mohawk. A few in the middle over the shaded area right here. Give a look of this copious amount of hair. It's really wild, little wild hairstyle. I'm gonna do some little squiggly ones. To show off the curliness. I'll even do some here on the shaded areas of the white fur. think that's cute. One of the Shih Tzus that my mom had was a black and white one, and this really reminds me of her. So I'm also going to do some squiggly lines like that with the black pen on the dark fur so that we have the same sort of effect going on. So that it doesn't seem like, oh, for some reason the white fur is really squiggly and curly, but the black fur isn't. Nope, it's all squiggly and curly. So night, Kiki. Kiki had a little sneeze. Just giving it a final look over to make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, I remember. Well, for one, I'm gonna add a couple more lines in here. But I was going to do, what size is this? That's a bigger size. Some white lines for these furs coming out of the ears. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That is giving the perfect effect. I'm going to zoom out of this picture a little bit now. So you can see a lot more of this white fur on this side. So you can sun even like that far in. Yes, yes. Let's do a few squiggles too. In fact, it's just like, because of the angle of the head, you can see so much. It's almost like the mohawk, and this is just barely touching. It does look like a couple right here. Bright fur. Here. Now I kind of think I went a little too far down. Yes, technically that's right. It's where the way this mustache fur comes over. This is how it is on the reference picture. You just can't see as much because something about the angle of the head, you only really see dark fur right here. Well, I think that's good then. Just need to sign it and then I'm done for the day. Use a size 8 for this. Where shall I sign it? Underneath? Maybe in front. There. There we go. My very first Patreon monthly Chibi reward. So if you're interested in qualifying for the contest, all you have to do is support my Patreon at the $5 level or above, and every month you'll be on the list for a randomly drawn winner to get a chibi drawing like this, and you can get whatever you want. You could get your favorite character, you could get a family member, yourself, and get your pet, your favorite animal. There's all kinds of things you could get if you win. And right now the chances are really good of you winning. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching.